It's Tuesday, January 26th. Welcome to another episode of Legal Briefs. I'm Wes Austin. I'm a lawyer keeping you updated on the latest legal news. Today, we're going to be talking about this guy, the QAnon Shaman, what charges have been filed, and where we are in the criminal justice process right now. So, first off, the QAnon Shaman. Who is he? His name is Jacob Chansley. He's a 33-year-old from Arizona. Who is the shaman of QAnon, or Q. Who is Q, or what is Q? Well, it's not the guy from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Okay, that was my first thought. That's not what Q is. I'm not going to do a tutorial on it because it would take way too long. Anyway, he is the QAnon shaman. Now, what did he do? Well, he was one of the first people to break into the Capitol building on January 6th. Shirtless, tan pants, helmet with horns, red, white, and blue paint. This guy showed a lot of style. I mean, seriously, that's amazing. Anyway, he had a blowhorn. He was yelling out things that I guess were going throughout the Capitol because of the blowhorn. We have a couple of photographs. These are from the affidavit to show probable cause. So here's one of the photos where he's in the halls of Congress. And then here's the other photo of him from the affidavit. You can see him up on the dais in the Senate, which just a few minutes before, that's where Mike Pence was. And I believe that the QAnon shaman then wrote a note to Mike Pence while he was up there and left it for him. So he was one of the first people to break in and was pretty prominent in a lot of the photographs and different videos that you've seen of people breaking into the Capitol. A lot of them have him in the photos and video. So where are we with the courts? Like, what charges have been filed? Where are we on the criminal justice system right now with the QAnon shaman? So on January 6th, they stormed the Capitol. On January 7th, the QAnon shaman called the Washington, D.C. field office for the FBI and said, "Hey, that was me. You're the guy in the war paint and all that stuff, the big spear. That's me." So he just called and asked to talk to him and said, "That was me." We're going to look at some of the language from a brief filed by the government regarding detention. It had some language kind of describing that first interaction. But they asked him, "How did you get in?" And the shaman said, "By the grace of God." He also said, "Hey, about that note that I wrote to Mike Pence, the note said, 'It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.'" He said, "I didn't mean that as a threat. I was just writing a little note." Chansley also told the FBI that he was planning to go back to Washington, D.C. as a protester. And this is what he said: "For sure I'd want to be there as a protester. As a protester, F and A." Okay, that was part of the quote. As the part of the quote to the FBI, he said F and A, which he didn't say the letter F, he said the whole F word, F and A. This guy, you got to give this guy style points. Seriously. That's just, anyway, that's amazing. So he talked to the FBI on January 7th on the phone. On January 8th, an arrest warrant was issued. So let's just take a quick look at the arrest warrant. We have a copy. There it is, arrest warrant, United States of America versus Jacob Anthony Chansley, the QAnon shaman. Now we also have a copy of the criminal complaint. We'll throw it up on the screen for you. You can just see the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. Criminal complaint, again, Jacob Anthony Chansley, the named defendant. So then on January 9th, Chansley drove in to the Phoenix field office for the FBI because he was going to continue his interview with the FBI. And I kind of thought that would be himself just turning himself in. But the government in their brief regarding detention seemed to go out of their way to say he didn't turn himself in. Let's just look at some of the language from that brief. Chansley did not turn himself in to the FBI, but instead drove to the FBI building to continue to his interview. However, he was arrested pursuant to the arrest warrant when he did so. I mean, is there a lot of difference between him driving himself in his own car and walking in, and then he gets arrested, versus he turned himself in? Are you guys sure he didn't turn himself in? I mean, from the facts that I'm reading, it sounds a lot like he turned himself in. I mean, I guess you tricked him a little bit by saying, do you want to finish your interview? But he called you guys in the first place to say, hey, I was the guy. That's me. So anyway, it just seemed odd to me that they're like, he didn't turn himself in. I mean, he drove himself in his own car. He told us who he was, and he walked in, and then we arrested him. But he didn't turn himself in. Are you sure? So after he arrived at the Phoenix field office for the FBI, that's when he was arrested. They charged him with 6 different counts of federal charges. 2 were felonies. Let's look. We actually have the indictment from the grand jury, so let's just kind of look at the caption page, and we can just read off the different charges that they filed against him. So this is the indictment from the grand jury. There's civil disorder, obstruction of an official proceeding, entering and remaining in a restricted building, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building, violent entry and disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. So for these 6 different federal charges, I think he could face up to 25 years in federal prison if he was convicted. So the Justice Department prosecutors, they argued that he should be denied bail. They should keep him in jail because he was a flight risk. They also said he had a huge support following in the QAnon community, and because of that, he could quickly raise money, and he was a flight risk. So they argued no bail. And on January 15th, a federal judge in Phoenix agreed and denied bail. And this federal judge said that she had no confidence that he would follow court orders to voluntarily appear for trial. Now, Chansley's lawyer did try to get a pardon from Donald Trump when he was in office, and they did not get a pardon. So, no pardon for the QAnon shaman. I did check the docket report for the U.S. District Court in Arizona, and on January 19th, Jacob Chansley was transferred back to the D.C. court. So we will wait till he gets there and try to track and follow his prosecution as that continues. Thank you for watching Legal Briefs. We'll see you next week.